Hey guys, hope y'all are doing well. I just wanted to get on here and go over some of the things in your packet that you're going to be getting today. So for this time in our packet, we're not going to be starting another novel, but we are going to be doing these little short, quick passages to kind of keep up with some of our skills. So before we do any of the passages, I want to go ahead and start out with our strategies that we have learned. Our preach strategies. I don't know, can you see that? It's kind of our preach strategies. So we know that the first thing that we should do before we start reading one of these passages is preview the questions. So we're going to look at the questions first, because remember, whenever we read the questions first, that kind of helps give us an idea about what we're going to be reading about, and it can sometimes give us information, and it can prepare our brains for kind of maybe what we need to be looking for when we're reading our passage. So the first question says, Lindy wants the makeup off her face mainly because she. Okay, so the first thing that tells us about our story is Lindy is going to be wanting makeup off of her face for some reason. So whenever we get to the part in the story where Lindy wants makeup off of her face, we're going to try to remember that and think, ding, 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 ding. We need to pay close attention. Maybe we could underline. If you have a highlighter or a crayon, you can underline it there, because we know that when she wants that makeup off her face, that's something that's going to be asked of us later. So we're going to make a little mark of it then. Okay. Then it says, which of the following belongs in the empty box below? So you've got three boxes, three events. So remember, when we see those events, we would want to find the first one and the last one. And then we would know that whatever went in the middle one, let me close this blind. No, that's the wrong way. Whatever goes in the middle one, there we go, that's much better, is going to come in between these two events, okay? So Mom painted Lindy's face, that's number one, and I'm going to label it 1 on my paper. I labeled it 1. And then we've got 2 over the middle one, and I'm labeling 3. Mom laughed at Lindy's reaction. So when we're going back, we're going to find where Mom painted her face, and we're going to find where she laughed at the reaction, and then we're going to have to be sure that whatever answer choice we choose happened in between those two events. Okay? And then the last one, the suffix less means without. List 2 words that end with the suffix less and define them. Okay, so a suffix is a letter or group of letters that is added to the end of a root word. Okay, so any word that has something added, you add something to the end of the word, that's a suffix. And sometimes it will change the meaning of a word. So we're looking for the suffix less, and we'll get into that a little bit more after we've read the passage and done the first 2 questions. Okay, here we go. Spirit Week. So now we're moving on to the next letter in our strategy. We've done P, preview the questions. Now we're going to read the passage carefully. Okay, here we go. It was Spirit Week at Plano Elementary, and each day students participated in different theme days. For Thursday, students were supposed to dress up as their favorite Disney characters. Lindy was only 5 years old, but she had always been fearless and actually preferred the villains over the main characters or heroes. So she chose to be Ursula from The Little Mermaid. Her mother tried to get her to choose a character who wasn't so scary, but Lindy assured her that Ursula was who she wanted. Mom sat Lindy on a kitchen chair and began to paint her face a light purple. She also painted ruby red lips, blue and purple eyeshadow, and 2 evil arched eyebrows. After Mom placed a white wig on Lindy's head, she caught a glimpse of herself on the mirror. Lindy was so horrified that she screamed and cried for Mom to take off the makeup. Ding, 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 ding. We need to be paying attention right here. That was one of the questions. She cried for Mom to take off the makeup and wig right away. Just a minute, baby. Mom just laughed and shook her head. She guessed Lindy didn't know quite what it would be like to look like a villain. She had tried to warn her. Maybe next time Lindy would listen. So, we're going to underline that sentence that talked about her taking the makeup off. Lindy was so horrified that she screamed and cried for Mom to take the makeup and wig off right away. So, why was she screaming? Underline it right there. She was screaming because she was horrified and it scared her when she saw herself in the mirror. So let's see if any of our answer choices match what we just decided when we went back and asked ourselves that question. A lot of times whenever you're going through these questions, it's a good idea to go ahead and try to formulate what you think the answer is inside of your brain first, and then see if any of the answer choices that you see match up with what you think the answer is. So, Lindy wants to make the makeup off her face mainly because she, A, tries to get her mother to take the makeup off. Is that why she wants her to take the makeup off her face? I don't think so. So then the next thing that we're going to do in our strategy is we're going to eliminate the wrong answers. So the E stands for eliminate wrong answers. So that one was a wrong answer. Then wants to paint her own face. No, we said that she was scared. Is upset by what she sees in the mirror. Maybe. And has decided to be Ariel instead of Ursula. It never says anything about Ariel. So we're going to answer, and we know that that's correct because we underlined where it says, Lindy was so horrified that she screamed and cried for Mom to take off the makeup and wig right away. So the word horrified means that she was scared. So the next letter in our strategy is A, answer with text evidence. And we did that. We underlined right here in paragraph 2, and we're going to write beside paragraph 2, number 1. We answered number 1. Okay? And then the last one is check your work. CH stands for check your work. So, let's look back at our answer, our question. Lindy wants the makeup off her face because she is upset by what she sees in the mirror. Does that match what we read in the story and our text evidence that we underlined? Lindy was so horrified she screamed and cried for Mom to take off her makeup. Does that match? Yes. So then we know that we're ready to go on to the next question. Which of the following belongs in the empty box? Mom painted Lindy's face. That's the first thing. And then the third thing is Mom laughed at Lindy's reaction. So the first thing to do is we need to go back in the passage and find those two events. So it says in paragraph 2, Mom sat Lindy on a kitchen chair and began to paint her face. It says it right here. So I'm going to go ahead and underline it. That's my text evidence. That's number 1. So now we need to find where Mom laughed. And there at the bottom, right under the text evidence that we just put, Mom just laughed and shook her head. That's evidence 3. So that's down here at the bottom. So we know that whatever goes in this box is going to come in between these two things. So when we're reading our answer choices, we need to match it with the paragraph to see, does that answer choice come in between those two things. We know that if it happened in paragraph 1, it cannot be the right answer because that's going to have happened before, and we want to know what happened between those two things. So, A, Lindy wanted to be Ursula for Spirit Week. Up here in paragraph 1 is where it says she chose to be Ursula, right there. So, can that be the right answer? No, we're going to eliminate that answer. B, Lindy was upset and wanted the paint removed. Maybe, because that was our text evidence that we answered for number 1, was that she was horrified and she wanted it removed, and that came in between those other two activities. Okay, so we're gonna put a question mark. We never ever just circle the first thing. We always go through every single question. Lindy didn't know what Ursula looked like. Okay, so after Mom laughed and shook her head, it says she guessed Lindy didn't know quite what it would be like to look like a villain. So that came after Mom laughed. So it can't go here because it happened over here. If there was another box over here, a number 4 box, it could have fit there, but it did not happen before Mom laughed. So it can't be that one. And D, Lindy just laughed as she looked in the mirror. Did Lindy even laugh at all? No, she was scared. So on all 4 answers, 3 of those answers happened in the story. You can go back and find them and underline them. Now, 2 of those answers happened in the story, but they either happened before Mom painted Lindy's face or after Mom laughed at her reaction. So that cannot be the thing that happened in between those 2 things. And then one of them didn't even happen at all. Okay, so that one you can easily just say, no, that one's not it. So the only one that it can be is that Lindy was upset and wanted the paint removed. And that is actually the same exact text evidence that we used for number 1. And so that's okay. You can write number 2. But I know it's kind of hard to tell, and I wish that I could turn this around. But if you'll notice, I even underlined the first thing that happened as evidence for number 2, and I underlined the last thing that happened as evidence for number 2 as well, because that shows that I'm kind of making my parameters for this is where I'm looking for those 2 things. All right, and then the last thing, the suffix LESS means without. List 2 words that end with LESS and define them. So I'm going to give you one example and then you can make up the other one. So I'm going to come up with the word speechless. Okay, the base word would be speech. And I added LESS to the end of it. And the meaning of the word speechless means not able to come up with something to say. Without speech. So you would write the definition right there. You can use my example. You can make up your own example. And then you need to come up with one more word that has the suffix LESS at the end. Alrighty. I hope you guys have a good day. Talk to you later.